Good afternoon. Well, I guess it's morning over there for you, still, right? We're halfway through the day, and it's still morning.
Yeah. Woo, I tell you what a day. This has been incredible. And I have to tell you, I do a lot of events, and I want to thank you for putting this together because it takes a lot to put something like this together. So great job. Thank you, obviously, to all the sponsors. But hats off to all the women. Just so much information. And in all honesty, sometimes I'll hop off of conferences if it's like an all-day conference and I'm speaking at a certain time and get some other work done. I haven't left. And I'm not talking just, lightly listening. I'm talking engaged, writing notes. Michelle, you're the bomb. I mean, absolutely amazing. I love you, girl. And everyone else has done a great job. So excellent job.
Well, I am excited to have you on board. You have also been an amazing supporter of mine, throughout me starting, the Build Your Empire, Leave a Legacy, and, doing these events. You've always been a person I could lean on, and you've shown your support since day one with sponsoring a few of the events and, showing up to speak. So I want to thank you for joining us today.
Well, we're a great community, so thank you.
All right. Well, I'm going to turn it over to you so you can get going.
Can you all see my screen, first of all? And I actually have my phone open so I can see questions.
Yep, I got your screen pulled up there.
Our sponsors. So, and I've learned a lot of great things from the sponsors as well. I have not heard of the Mort flick, so I want to definitely look at that, given what I'm talking about today. And of course, to Jason and Eddy and EPM and everyone involved. So, with that, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ginger Bell, and my company is Edu Marketing. That's education and marketing. And I've had the pleasure of writing 3 best-selling books, 2 with Brian Tracy, 1 with Jack Canfield. And I've also recently had the opportunity to co-produce a documentary on Folds of Honor, which, Michelle, you're going to love this because it is not-for-profit that is focused solely on providing scholarships to the families of wounded and fallen soldiers. And I'm going to share some information later on. But what I do is I help companies and loan originators, real estate agents to be able to educate, develop marketing campaigns, and really to take their expertise and to share that and position them as the experts in their fields. And I've done that for a long time. Had the opportunity to really get started in training and education back in 2001 in the mortgage industry. Prior to that, I was working at Dale Carnegie Training, was a corporate trainer there, left Dale Carnegie. It was an incredible opportunity, and then got into the mortgage industry, which I'm going to share that story in a little bit. And I have been blessed to be involved with a lot of different organizations, had several different awards. But, at the end of the day, for me, all of those accomplishments, all of those things, none of that really matters. And the reason that none of those things really matter is important. And I think that's your why. And Kelsey talked about that as far as knowing what our why is. And so for me, all of the accomplishments that I've had really don't matter, because for me, I know that coming from the bottom of my heart, from the very soul, Oprah calls it the center of yourself, where God abides. It's where the divine within you lives. And Michelle, you talked about this. It's like, I don't really know why I do this. It's just what I do. And it's important to me. And she knows her why. But it's from that place that the only thing that's important. And I know that from that place that I am living my most authentic life. And I'm aligned with my authentic power. And Gary Zukav wrote a book called Seed of the Soul, and it's a pretty thick book. Honestly, I haven't made it all the way through. But what he talks about in this book is when your personality comes to serve the energy of your soul, that is authentic power. And it's when those two combine. And that's really what I want to talk about today is, what is your authentic power? What are you really, really good at? What are you here for? And have you ever sat down and written out what you're good at? Have you ever taken a few minutes to really know what is your authentic power? And I'm not talking about what you do. I'm not talking about just what you do. I'm talking about is, what are your strengths? What is that lies within you that you were meant to do? It's like Michael Phelps. If he would have never, ever had the opportunity to be thrown into a swimming pool, we would never know all of the incredible things that he was gifted with, his authentic power. And so sometimes we fall into an authentic power. Sometimes we find it by accident, and then sometimes it grows. But it's important to know what is that authentic power. And a lot of that comes from your strengths. So what are your strengths? Are you an organized person? Are you a great communicator? Do you manage your time effectively? And so what I want you to do, grab out a piece of paper. You're sitting at your desk, write in your day timer. I have a day timer that I always have, that I have my to-do list every day. I'm really good at getting at organization, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But grab a piece of paper and write down, what are some of your strengths? Write down one or two of your strengths. And think about, what do you bring to the table that your customers can benefit from? So Michelle brings giving. And from that giving, she provides education. And she is what I call a servant soul. She truly has that. That ability to give, not just the desire to give, but truly the ability to give. So from that power, from your strengths, what do you bring to the table that your customers can benefit from? And then what do you bring to the table that your team can benefit from? And then from that, what do you bring to the table that your partners can benefit from? Now you can take this further, and you can go into using this at more of a personal level. We're going to keep this on a professional level right now, but all of those things, when you think about your strengths, what are those areas within your life that individuals can benefit from? For me, I know that my authentic power, my strength, is education and training and marketing. And that's why I actually branded my business about 1.5 years ago with Edu Marketing. That is truly my authentic power. And I know that. So let me ask each of you, what is your authentic power? What are your strengths? And are you living your most authentic life and tapping into your authentic power? More importantly, how many of you are sharing your gifts with others? How many of you are passing on your expertise, like Michelle, like so many of our speakers here? How many of you are passing on your wealth of knowledge, your authentic power? What are you doing to share that? That's very important, because a lot of what we receive back is what we give. And so it's important to be able to do that. So let's find out, what's great about you. And I asked you a few minutes ago to grab out a piece of paper and to write down a couple of things that you're good at. So type in to the chat box, a couple of you, what are some of the things that you said, hey, I'm good at this? Type in a couple of different things on what you're good at. And if you're struggling with this and making a list, and sometimes we are, and I say this as women, and I don't know why, but I think sometimes women and men too. Sometimes I think men don't sit down and write this out either. But for us, we kind of play it off a little bit. It's like, you know what? It's okay. Somebody gives you a compliment. No big deal. It's important for us to be able to identify what we're good at and to be able to share that. And so it begins with identifying. So write down 5 great things you do. So it could be you're great at organizing. It could be you're great at educating, about communicating. Maybe you're good at writing. I write a lot, and it's something I started out in college as a major in journalism, switched to marketing. But my husband always says, because I'll get up early in the morning and write. He's like, because I don't know how you write. It's like, it's my gift. It's my authentic power. I don't know why. It's just something I'm good at. And I'm fortunate with that. So I use that. I also have a magnet on my refrigerator. It says, write drunk, edit sober, just so you know. But what are you good at? So make that list. And I'm looking in, if you guys are typing into the chat box, I'm not seeing anything. I want to see a couple of things that you are good at. Whatever you're good at, write it at the list. And then at the end of the week, and if it takes, a week for you to do this, that's fine. You don't need to do it right now, but think about it. Really focus on it over the week. And at the end of the week, formalize a list. And so start writing down 5 great things, add another 5 great things, add another 5 great things. This will help you get to the point of really what you're good at, and also help you get to the point of finding your authentic power. Because again, it's that authentic power. So when the seed of the soul comes together with this unique power, then it's incredible what you can accomplish. And once you realize that, you know you're right because you feel it. It's like you get that feeling in your stomach. It's like, yes, I know this is it. That's when you know you are aligned. And those are the gifts that you have. For some of us, we may struggle with knowing what we're good at. We're so busy, sometimes we don't know, hey, what am I good at? And so I'm seeing this. So Michelle, I'm a giver. You are a giver. You're a great educator too, my girl. Mitch, good at connecting. Yes. Corrina, I'm good at keeping my list to do, and I love teaching. You're a great educator, Corrina. And yes, organization. So those are great things. Being able to identify those is very important. And then obviously how you put those and use those into your business is the second part of it. If you're still struggling with coming up with ideas, you guys get referrals all the time. So from those referrals, look for those strengths. And I added this because I had an opportunity to provide a proposal for a really big not-for-profit that's just coming into play this month. Within the industry, nobody knows about it yet. I was referred by one of my clients. And they had created a foundation years ago, and now they want to develop education around credit. And so I had a call with them, met with the president, and submitted a proposal to be able to take on the project and help them to develop their education. And so I was pulling out some old reference letters, and I work strictly by referral. So most people know me. I don't really use a lot of reference letters, but I had some from several years ago that I'd had to provide to the Department of Justice because I had been asked to do fair lending training for a company that was issued consent orders, blah, 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 back when the DOJ used to do that. So I had to get 3 referral letters. So I pulled those out and I read through it. And it's funny how you kind of forget what you're good at. It just becomes, very normal. And for me, what I do is become, it's like, I'm good at it. I know I'm good at it, but I hadn't really thought about it. It was really cool to be able to sit and read through it, because it helped me really identify what my strengths are. And so from these 3 letters, I went and I highlighted some of the areas that they had talked about. And then I pulled from that, those are my strengths. So the ability to make complicated information easy to understand. Flexible, positive, can work under tight schedules. Can relate to a wide range of audiences. Those are my strengths. And so for me, that's what I want to share with others. And so knowing your skills is very important. Being able to share that is the next part of it. And that's what we're going to talk about, how you can share that in a way as far as branding. And Kelsey talked about that, building your personal brand. So the first thing is to know your skills. It will help you define what you do, who you are, and what you're great at. And so you may be that person that everyone goes to if the copier gets stuck, or if you need to write a really hard email. Knowing your skills is very, very powerful, and also helps you to be able to define what you do and then also what you're great at. And so think about when you have been most in your element. What were you doing? What were you saying? Where are you most comfortable? And when you're doing that, that's your comfort zone. And so you don't want to live in your comfort zone 24/7. Absolutely not. You want to stretch yourself. Corrina talked about that as far as stretching yourself, getting outside your comfort zone, but knowing where that comfort zone is and where those skills are very important, so you can share it with others. And so, as I said before, grab out your list and start writing down. If you've never sat down, if you've never written down what you are good at, now may be a really good time to start doing that. And so think about what comes naturally. Think about the things that you may not even know comes naturally to you. You just take it for granted. Michelle was asked, how do you stay so organized? And I loved her thought. She's like, I don't know, I just do. So something that she takes for granted comes so naturally to her. And we look at it, it's like, oh my gosh, how do you get all these things accomplished? And so really being able to sit down and identify, how do you get those things accomplished? What are you good at? Are you good at making a list like Corrina? Are you good at, bringing people together like Mitch? Those are things to be able to really hone in and to share those skills. So looking at what are your talents? What are your hard skills? And, you may be comfortable making cold calls. My husband is a pro at making cold calls. Most people hate that. Whatever it is, that's a good thing for you to be able to use. So you begin by really taking an inventory of your skills and then being able to look at branding yourself. And there's a difference between self-promotion and self-branding, because you can definitely do it in a positive, non-boastful way. And how you do that is to hone in on how you help people. And so, you think about, what do you say when someone asks what you do? What you do is often very synonymous with who you are. So the challenge for most people is usually just, if you're a loan originator, to say, I'm a loan originator. And so you think about that. Somebody may not know what that is, or it may lead to a bad experience. And so perception becomes more about experiences. And those are experiences are accumulated by people that you're talking to. And so they may or may not know you personally. And so being able to share an experience or a story can help them to understand you, what you're good at, and what you do. And so, you think about it. If you say, I'm in sales, some people may think you're pushy, or if you say I'm an accountant, someone might think you're a geek. Everywhere from networking events to family gatherings, people are always asking you what you do, right? So what I want you to do is to find a way to explain your profession in a way that makes for an engaging conversation starter. So instead of fast tracking right to the pigeonhole as far as a thought, start with your next response. When somebody asks, what do? You can say, I help people. And then go into how you help people, and then see where the conversation goes from there. Self-promotion versus personal branding. Kelsey talked about this morning as far as that personal branding. And you've seen the posts on social media from people talking about, what they've accomplished, how many houses they've sold, how many loans they've closed. And it seems boastful, maybe even icky. And especially if we're talking about yourself, is super awkward to begin with. But it's important to understand the difference between self-promotion and personal branding. And this can help you to be able to really make some real connections with your target audience, and also help to confidently position yourself as the expert. And so, you think about, to begin with, yes, self-promotion and personal branding, they do go together. It's kind of like peanut butter and jelly. But if you're just boasting about what you've done and not focusing on the value that you're providing to your audience, then you will be ignored and you'll be shut down. And so when you're creating your personal brand, you want to take the focus off of you, and then you want to focus on the context of what's in it for your audience. So instead of saying, hey, are you ready to buy a home? Let me help you with your financing. I've helped thousands of people finance their homes, and I can help you. Contact me today to help you get started. Instead, relate it to a story. People remember stories. So you may say something like, hey, when Sarah was ready to buy her first home, she was really nervous about the financing process. She didn't know what information she needed. She wondered if she would even qualify. And so we walked her through the process. We told her absolutely everything that she needed. And we even told her about the VA home loan benefit, which she didn't even know. And so today, Sarah's in the house of her dreams, and she had little out-of-pocket expense. So you know what? If you'd like to find out about the home buying process, then feel free to contact me. We absolutely love helping homeowners realize their dream. So the difference is relating that story, still telling them the same thing as far as what you do, but now you're telling them in a way that it relates to them. It's what's in it for them. And they remember that. They remember those stories. So that's the difference. The first one, when you're just saying, hey, this is what I do, it's very me-centered. Whereas the second one, when you're bringing a story into it, then that becomes very much a target as far as telling a story. And so think about how you can make an impact and not just make noise. Michelle, all of the women on here have done an incredible job of that. And so finding ways where you can do that is very important. And brand yourself as the expert who can help. I think that's very important. When I first started into the industry, I started out brought in by a friend, helped them put together some training, put together some processes for a wholesale company. This is back in the day at Capcom. And the company was doing very well. We were very busy. And I created a lot of processes to help the account executives to be able to increase their sales and marketing and all the things we've talked about today. And so while I was creating all these processes, one of their account executives had a couple of life events and couldn't handle all of her volume. She was doing about 35 million a month. And so her regional manager, being a very smart manager, said, we don't want you to quit. Because she's like, I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm moving to Italy. I'm over this. Her regional manager said, hey, you know what? Don't move. Stay here. Take some time off. And we'll let Ginger handle your territory for you. So I took over her territory, implemented the processes I put into place, took her territory from 35 million a month to 85 million a month in less than 3 months, which was fantastic. But then the company went out of business overnight and I was without a job. And so I loved the industry. I fell in love with the industry. It's like, I don't want to quit. I want to get into this industry, but really hadn't been an account executive because I was just filling in for an account executive. So I went looking for an AE position, had a company I had targeted, talked to my recruiter, said, I want this company. And he's like, yeah, they're not hiring. And I'm like, that's bullshit. Companies are always hiring good salespeople. So I called their HR department in Orange County. And I said, hey, are you hiring in Oregon? They're like, nah, we're not hiring in Oregon. I'm like, that's bullshit. People are always hiring good salespeople. So I ended up tracking down their regional manager in Oregon, called him up. He's like, yeah, sorry, we're not hiring. And I'm like, okay, listen, I took a territory from 35 million a month to 85 million in less than 3 months. I don't know if you'd be interested in this kind of results, but what I recommend we do is at least get together and have a conversation. And so we did. And we had lunch. He ended up firing somebody, hiring me. Long story short, you cannot be afraid to self-promote. And you cannot be afraid to have that confidence in yourself that you can make a difference. Because when you have that commitment, that fire in your belly, people hear that. And to the point of, this guy fired someone to bring me on. He truly didn't have a job. But I believed in myself, and I used enough with my expertise to be able to get at least an interview, and from there a job. So it's important to be able to share that and to do it in a way of what's in it for them. So when I called him and I said, hey, I took a territory from 35 million a month to 85 million a month. I don't know if you'd be interested in the same kind of results. It made it about him, and it wasn't about me. So we got together. And that's what you always want to do, is make it about them. Which leads me to my next point of making it about them. And that is, consumers are looking for information, to the point that Google now has a search that they've linked in with the CFPB. So when somebody searches onto their phone, they actually bring up a new search app that has a lot of different things on it I'm not going to go into. But consumers are looking for information. And Google said that there'd been so many search requests starting in May that they decided to do this. So people are looking for information. The demand for video content is increasing. And I'm not just talking about social media. Facebook Live, like we're on right now, is great. But you have to have the audience there. What you want to do is you want to get in front of what consumers are searching for, and that's Google and that's YouTube. And it's important to know what consumers are searching for. So I use a site that's called Answer the Public. You go into Answer the Public and you can type in a word, and it'll tell you what are the most common search words. So I went into Answer the Public. I just put in mortgage, and it has all the different areas: what, who, how, where, why, all those different things that people are typing into Google. And so under what, the first thing that came up is, what mortgage can I get? So that's the number one search at this particular time. It can change daily, but what mortgage can I get? And so what I did then is I went onto Google, and I'm like, okay, when I type in what mortgage can I get, what comes up? Not one video. It's all just, it's ads, obviously, but then it's just information. There's no videos on there. So I was like, okay, well, let's go over to YouTube, because we know there's videos on YouTube. So I put in, what mortgage can I get? What's interesting is the very first video that comes up on the search is from a real estate agent, not even a mortgage professional. And then Jennifer does a great job on her videos. The second video that came up posted 12 months ago. So you're not getting this on your Facebook. You're not getting this on your Instagram. You're not getting this on your social media, but you can get this on YouTube. And that's why it's so important for you to start using YouTube. So you're talking about Facebook Live videos, take them, put them onto YouTube. Save that MP4, post it onto YouTube, because that's where people are going and searching. And I'll show you some of the results. This is, so this guy does a lot of videos. He has a channel, it's called Fire Your Landlord. This video came up on the search, what mortgage can I get? He posted over a year ago, 115,000 views, 115,000 views. And what I love is the 3,100 likes. So people aren't only just viewing it, they're liking it. And they're making comments on it, 673 comments on it. And that's why YouTube is so powerful, and it's free. So whatever you're doing for your videos on Facebook Live, you need to get them onto YouTube, because that's where consumers are searching. That's where you're going to have the biggest impact on your education in front of your consumers. and they do produce results. So we recently started helping a few loan officers to be able to manage their YouTube channel. It's a whole new product for me. We're just launching with just a couple people. We're testing this out. But for this particular video that we did for Andrew, we did one video, we posted on YouTube, he emailed it to his contacts, he posted on Facebook. From Facebook, I mean, immediately, honestly, within 2 minutes, he got 2 shares. And just in the first day, he got 8 loans, and there's more coming. 2 of the people that shared, one Joshua Baker, who is in charge of Veterans Affairs for something, I can't remember what Andrew said, and the other is the California Enlisted Association of the National Guard, shared it. So that's how powerful YouTube is, and that's how powerful videos are that you use and you post. So you need to change your marketing. It's important right now, and if you want to make an impact, and if you want to do any kind of education, then you want to be able to use videos. Video is everything. Kelsey showed a video from Gary V. And I mean, Gary is phenomenal as far as YouTube. That's how he started everything out. But video is everything. And there's a reason why. People retain 95% of a message on video as opposed to 10% that they read on text. And people are looking for information. So it's important for them to have that information. We're talking about the biggest financial transaction of people's lives. And we're not showing them how and why. And some of us are. And if you are, that's great. If you're not on YouTube, you need to get onto YouTube. For a lot of people, I know it's very difficult to make videos. But we're talking about, why are we not showing them why? Why are we not showing them what we do each and every day, the conversations that you have? And I kind of have my suspicion about it, and it goes something like this.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, I don't need this. I'm already late.
Somebody will come. Anybody out there?
Do you have a phone?
No. Sorry. Somebody! Hello? There are 2 people stuck on an escalator and we need help. Now, would somebody please do something? I don't believe this. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm gonna cry.
Well, there's not enough left to do. See?
Hello? Hey, don't worry about it. I'll fix it in a second.
He said he can fix it. All right. All right. That's more like it.
So guys, we know what to do. And I always love that video because it's really amazing when you think about it. You know what to do. You really know what to do. You know how to share information. You tell people you have conversations each and every day. We just don't know how to make a video to show people how to do that. And it's a matter of figuring this out. Michelle said she just, Facebook Live, press the button, figured it out. That's it. It's a matter of just getting started. And for me, my goal is to change that. That's one of my biggest goals this year is to be able to help as many originators, wholesalers, retail, whatever, to be able to get more information and education out there. So I get this all the time. What should I talk about, Ginger? I'm not even sure. What we just talked about, your strengths, what you're good at. That's what you can talk about. And what I recommend and what I wrote about in my book called The Edge of Marketer is answer these 3 questions. What problems do you solve? What questions do you answer? And what products and services do you offer? And so from that, then, make a list. Make a list of topics. And then from this list of topics, you can add new topics. If you're always adding to the list, you get a question. It's like, oh, that'd be a great topic. There's an update. That'd be a great topic. So what you want to do is to create a list of topics. And then from those topics, what you want to do is write out a script. And so beginning with your topic or your idea, what you want to do is you want to begin with writing an opening hook for your video. So what's going to capture someone's attention? And then what is the first point you want to make? What's the second point you want to make? What's the third point you want to make? Now, the reason I break it into 3 points is because oftentimes, and especially if you're doing video for social media, you want them shorter. And so by being able to write out your points, it helps you to stay focused. And then at the end, what do you want someone to do at the end of your video? So what do you want them to walk away from? If you're talking about VA home loans, what do you want them to do? If you're talking about, how to look up their VA entitlement, in this video, I'm going to share with you how to look up your VA entitlement. And here's the first 3 things: starting here, going here, going here. Now, if you need additional help in navigating through this, give me a call. And by all means, if you want to be able to use your VA benefit, then connect with me. I'd be happy to help. Those are the kind of things that you do in a script. And you don't have to write it out verbatim. You can just write out an outline. We do have scripts that we develop for people that we write out, and they use teleprompters and things like that. But begin with the script template. And so in writing out your script, what's the topic? What's the call to action? What's your hook? What's your 3 points? And then what do you want them to do? And always begin with an opener. So many times, and everyone's done a great job as far as introducing themselves and who they are, you want to always begin that when you're doing a video. And so begin with your name and your company. And then I always like to get into, again, back to what's in it for them. So pulling your strengths in, part of your strengths is to make sure that you share that, but there has to be sharing what's in it for them. So number 1, who is your audience? Number 2, what do you do to help your audience? And number 3, how? This is actually what you do to help your audience. So for me, my name is Ginger Bell with Edgy Marketing. I help loan originators to be able to develop educational content that positions them as experts in their field. So that's my who, what, and how. And then the final part is write a closing statement. And so when you're doing a video, have your opener, have your information, and then have a closing statement. Let people know, what is that hook at the end? Close it out and make sure and mention your name and your contact information. I had watched a video on YouTube one time of someone, loved his content, never heard his name. It was nowhere on his YouTube channel. And then he never gave a website to be able to find him. And it wasn't in his links on YouTube. It wasn't in his video. And I went back and watched it like 3 times, like, what is this guy's name? So you want to make sure when you're doing your videos to let them know who you are. And you can say it a couple of different times. And then make sure to give that ending to be able to have your contact information in there. So I've been developing training and education for large companies for many, many years. My clients include Arch Mortgage Insurance, Finance of America Wholesale, First American Title, RE/MAX. I mean, I've worked with some of the very best organizations in the industry. And because I do, back when we could travel and speak at a lot of conferences, I speak a lot on creating video and what you need and all the different tools of it. But I was getting a lot of questions from loan originators saying, I need help. I'm not sure where to start. I don't know what to say. And so last year I wrote a book called The Edgy Marketer. It goes through the steps of everything that I do to create content. And so I started doing some coaching from there. And then from there, it's like, okay, we're still struggling with coming up with ideas as far as what to talk about. And so a couple weeks ago, I just put together, it's called a mortgage video planner. And in the mortgage video planner, it's available on Amazon. It is 52 video prompts. So 52 video prompts, one for each day of the year, each week, not each day, each week of the year. So you can create a video each week just by following the prompts. So each week we have a different idea. So week 1, veterans. Share a story of a veteran that you helped to get into a home. Tell why the VA home loan made sense. Share what they were looking for, all of those things. And then on the other side of the planner is where you write it out. And so you write out your script. What's the topic? What's the opening hook? What are your 3 points? And then what do you want your viewers to do after watching the video? And so when we created the planner, I know my marketing assistant said, do you want to make it in a PDF? And I'm like, I think eventually we will, but I really want to have somebody go through the physical aspect of writing something down. Because there's something happens when you actually take something from in your brain, what you're thinking of, and you write it down, that it becomes clear. So when you're doing video, it can help you to really get your thoughts together that you're going to communicate on video. So it is something that it's a planner. You're going to write in it. I've also created a spot where you can write your opener, which I had just talked about, and your closer. But what it allows you to do is to create a plan for your weekly videos. And that's what you need to do. Write out a list of topics, create your scripts. When you're recording your videos, make sure you're using good lighting and a microphone. It doesn't matter if you're at home. We're all at home now. You don't need the fancy schmancy thing. And honestly, I've been working from home for 20 years. And Michelle, like you, I did it so I could be with my son, who's now off at college, working on his master's. But it definitely, when you're doing your videos, it's important to have good lighting, good microphone. Those are the two most important things. And then keep your energy high. It's important to be able to stay at that level to keep people engaged. And then remember to smile. So many times we forget to smile. And it's important to be able to do that and have a conversation with the camera. If you're still struggling as far as what to think to do in a video, think about what's happening right now. Talking about closing during COVID. What are the challenges with that? I did a webinar on e-sign and hybrid e-signs. So you can do some things on that. What are you doing? What's happening in community? You can highlight a realtor partner. There's all kinds of videos you can do. You can do updates. You can do education. You can explain a process. You can do a how-to videos. You can do a video with your partner. At the beginning of COVID, in March, I said, okay, we've been through this before. We need some positive information out there. And so I started a series that was called Flatten the Curve, Not the Spirit. Eddy Perez, a great friend of mine, was one of my first guests on it. And so we just talked about, what are you doing? How do you stay positive? How do you stay focused? Working through this, all the changes we went through. So you can share industry information. RTMI, as I said in the beginning part of today, they grounded, hundreds of their account executives. So we did a video jumpstart program and taught all of their account executives how to do video. And this one was a great one. And talked about their giving boxes within their community. I love the kids in the background on this. But you can share local information. You can share program updates. Andrew's one of our clients. We help him to manage his YouTube channel. And there's all the changes with the CARES Act and forbearances in Earl. And so he did this video. And this is another video that we did for him, just talking about program updates. And they work. And so the first email I actually just got back tonight, or last night, from one of our clients that had, we just started posting their videos onto YouTube. And she said, it just happened. I got my first lead directly from a video we posted. Andrew, same thing. He just got his first lead. It was from the forbearance video on Earls. People are searching for information. So you want to take your information. If you are doing it on Facebook, get it onto YouTube. You can also use some produced educational videos. And so I know you all are busy, and so coming up with information is difficult. And so we started creating some what we call snackable educational videos to be able to explain updates, processes, things like that. And so those are things that you can use as well. I'm going to share this for just a couple seconds. There's some examples on our website if you want to go look at them of what those look like. We use Powtoons to create them. That's what our team uses. So if you want to create some of your own, you can go to Powtoons. It's pretty affordable and you can create them there. And that's what the Powtoons looks like, is this.
You may be wondering what it's like to buy a home during the COVID pandemic. Should you start your search online? Can you even get in to view a home? While each area is a little bit different, the most important thing you will need before you start your search is a pre-approval letter from your lender.
So there's lots of different things that you can do with videos, whether it's you on a video, whether you're using a Powtoons to make a video, whether you're using another type of video. There's all kinds of things you can do to educate and brand, and to bring in your expertise and your strengths and how you help people and the things that you can provide. The equipment to get, it's important to be able to have your equipment if you're recording from your phone. If you're recording from your computer, also have a good microphone, good lighting. I actually just updated my video recording equipment, and I'll give you a website where you can go and get that downloaded for free. It has all the links where you need to go. You can just click on them and go purchase everything. And so I actually just updated that one a couple of weeks ago. So that's free. You can go and grab that. But the most important thing is develop a plan. Commit to creating videos, develop your weekly plan, write your list, get your list, write your templates, your scripts, and then start recording your videos. And just be like Michelle, just hit record, just get started. It's not hard to do. But here's your call to action. And what I'm asking from each of you that are listening right now is brand you. Share your knowledge, share your strengths. Consumers want it, and they definitely need it. And you know what? You've got the knowledge. And then most importantly, take care of you. Jim Rohn has authored countless books and one of my favorite authors out there. And he's always taught, work hard at your job and you can make a living. Work hard on yourself and you can make a fortune. And so many of the speakers today talked about what they've done to reinvest in themselves. And I think that's so important to be able to do that. So if you want something different, improve yourself. If you devote 80% of your time to improving yourself, expanding your skills, your abilities, your vision, you will see great results at work. So if you'd like a copy of my handout, you can go to edumarketing.com/virtual. I posted it on the links below in the comments, and you can get a copy of the PowerPoint presentation. You just need to enter information. I'm also giving away several of my books, as well as the DVD of the documentary I worked on. And so if you go and enter, then I'm going to do a couple of drawings. We're going to do several drawings. And then I want to say thank you so much to all of our sponsors. And before I leave, I want to leave you with something. And today I want to leave you with this. It is a message from an organization that has become so very important to me, and something that I believe will also become very important to you. And the organization is called Folds of Honor, and they provide scholarships to the families of wounded and fallen soldiers. And in fact, this year alone, they've been able to give over 3,000 young adults the ability to attend college. And of those recipients, over 80% are minorities, over 70% were first generation attendees. And so why is this so important? Well, it is important because we need to make sure our next generation of our hero families are educated in order to lead us. And so, Mitch, I see you're back on. Is my time up, or do I have time to show a quick video?
No, you have time.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I just heard you there. So what I want to do is I want to share with all of you the video of how Folds of Honor began.
There's a term I love in life, synchronicity. I define that as chance with a purpose. And one fateful night, my life would change forever. I was flying from Chicago here to Grand Rapids, Michigan. It was United Flight 664. Finally get on this airplane, I walk through first class, and I see this kid. He catches me off guard because he's a corporal sitting in dress army green. And I go sit and coach, and about an hour and a half or so later, we land in Grand Rapids, Michigan. As we pull up to the gate, the captain comes over the PA and says that we have an American hero on board. And my mind immediately jumps to this kid in first class, right? And I was like, what did he do? I'd just gotten back from my second tour of duty in Iraq flying the F-16. And he continues, the captain, by informing us that we are carrying the remains of Corporal Brock Buckland on this flight. And his identical twin brother, Corporal Brad Buckland was in first class and has brought him those 7,000 miles home. Captain makes another request that everybody stay in their seats until his remains have been removed from the right cargo hold. And that night I watched The Other Side of War. As I looked out on the tarmac, the Bucklands on the darkest night of their lives. The thing that really got me, though, was his 4-year-old son. Sat right below the cargo ramp as that American flag draped coffin inched down. And the finality of the sacrifice hit me. The realities that this young boy would never play catch with his dad again. He would never be tucked in at night. And that term freedom isn't free didn't mean anything until I witnessed that. And as the ceremony finishes itself up, I wipe away my tears, right, and I grab my backpack and I look back to the airplane, only to see that more than half the plane had gotten off. No place to go, except that blanket of freedom we'll all sleep under each and every night, courtesy of 1% of this country that suits up every day, willing to defend and pay the ultimate sacrifice for the other 99%. And that was my moment of synchronicity. I knew with every fiber of my being that God had called me on a mission.
So I had the honor of being a co-producer on the Folds of Honor documentary that was released on Amazon on July 4th of this year. And we were fortunate. We've received 2 Telly Awards and 3 Emmy nominations. We have won 2 Emmy Awards, which brings great attention to the Folds of Honor Foundation. And the reason that I'm sharing this with you is because I told you earlier that we were able to give over 3,000 families scholarships this year, which is great. What's not so great is that we actually had to say no to over 2,500 kids who lost someone in the line of duty for someone who served. And we had to say no to them, no to that opportunity for education. And so I want to change that. And that's why I'm starting a virtual Folds of Honor. They've never had a virtual chapter before. I talked them into it, specifically dedicated to the mortgage industry, because we provide that home financing for those who serve. And I wanted to be able to, first of all, bring awareness of the opportunity that Folds of Honor provides. And then also to be able to change those no's to go's. So my goal is to be able to next year, when the time for scholarships come around again, for us to be able to wipe out those 2,500 no's and turn them into yeses, to be able to provide education for the families of our wounded and fallen soldiers. And so one of the things that I'm giving away today, if you will enter onto edumarketing.com/virtual and send me an email, I will mail you a copy of our Folds of Honor DVD. And I ask that you share that with your veterans that you serve as well, to let them know if they know of anyone that this is available. And then we're starting the virtual chapter. So if you're interested in finding out more about that, shoot me an email and I'd be happy to answer any questions. And then in my last couple of minutes, I'm going to end you with this, which is a very small part of our Folds of Honor documentary.
If you could do anything for that fallen man or woman, the one thing they would probably ask you to do is look after my family if something happens to me. That's what Folds of Honor is doing. They don't let them fall through the cracks.
I started Folds of Honor above our garage in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Our mission is to provide scholarships to spouses and children who've had someone killed or disabled defending our freedoms. We awarded almost $16 million in scholarships. We have millions in unfunded requests from families. That's why it's so important that we keep being the voice.
As a mom of young children, I was not paid about college. I had to get these kids through elementary school and high school without their dad. I needed help now, not 18 years from now. Folds of Honor meets a big need.
This is real people having real impact. To me, the domino effect of what happens with Folds of Honor is unlike any other charity I've ever seen.
This year, for the third time in event history, golf legend Jack Nicklaus will help kick off their 10th annual Patriot Golf Day.
I remember the first time Dan and I met, and I knew his passion. Here's a guy who's really dedicated to try to improve the lives of families, and that I thought was very special.
You really want to honor the troops and honor our fallen soldiers. Help take care of their family, help put their kids through college. It's an easy thing that anybody can get involved with.
They give their life for it, and people just go about their lives like it's no big deal.
It's been an awesome opportunity to have Folds of Honor and be with me. It's such a monumental thing for me to have a family to be a part of.
The impact they've had on our family has been so much greater than just financial.
Everybody forgets that this serviceman gave his life or is living disabled forever. And the fact that we acknowledge that and we say thank you by providing an education almost to a recipient, they say is more powerful than the dollars that we gave them.
So if you'd like to get some more information, you can go to edumarketing.com/virtual. I want to thank all of our sponsors, all of our speakers, and leave you with this one final thought. You never know how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. So thank you, Mitch.
Whew, thank you. I definitely need to watch that documentary. I've always had I don't know what it is, a soft spot in my heart for, military and veterans. My grandfathers were both, veterans of World War II. I have a couple really close friends that were in Iraq and Afghanistan and were wounded. And, it's a little dusty in here after that. So I want to.
I think that's something that, and so much of this group with the focus on education, and that's one of the things I love about Folds is, people are there right when it happens. So when somebody dies or they're wounded, people are right there. But then everybody leaves. And so it's the kids to be able to help, to take care of them. And that's what they provide, which they don't get through the VA. So being able to provide them with scholarships is amazing. So we're starting a virtual chapter. We honestly are just starting it. So if you're interested in being a part of it, shoot me an email. I think it's time for us to be able to continue to provide education and make a difference.
I am 100% in on anything I can do to help with the virtual chapter. That is for sure. So most definitely. I want to thank you for coming on board and educating and sharing all of your knowledge with everybody that's tuned in too.
Well, thank you. It's been a great day.